Dave, what goes into this in terms of from Facebook's side? What give us a technical nugget on your experience that plays a part in Terragraph.
Sure, certainly. And I realized too, Darren, when I answered your question earlier, maybe I didn't address exactly what Facebook has done in this ecosystem as well. So I think important to understand, right, when we undertook this problem to solve in the connectivity realm and we conceived of Terragraph, basically what that meant is we invested in a bunch of R&D to come up with a solution to this problem, and effectively this resulted in let's say a bunch of intellectual property, software, various ecosystem developments that we helped drive. And important to understand that Facebook is not an OEM or a service provider in this context. So all of this intellectual property, IP, everything that is Terragraph, we partner with the ecosystem to commercialize. So it's been licensed to Cambium and other OEMs to produce. Now, if I break it down a little bit further and maybe get into some of the technical nuggets of what that are, Darren, you asked what some of the other technical pieces were. There's an important concept that we borrowed, actually, interestingly, from our, basically our server farms as Facebook. We had to solve this problem or consider the problem of, when you render a service that you need to be highly reliable, resilient, always available, you can do so with a server that is, at a very, let's say, high grade, high industrial grade, high availability server that's also very expensive. But another way to skin that cat or solve that problem, and ultimately what Facebook has ended up doing is, invest in, let's say, a fleet or a number of lower cost servers that then can fail over. And as long as you manage this fleet of lower cost servers, appropriately, you can render a very high availability service. And there's a number of very positive attributes to solving the problem that way. And Terragraph actually takes so many pages out of that book. It's really a nice reuse of that concept. So I think we were talking earlier that in some ways it's like the telco version of managing a server farm that way, right? Build in high availability, reliability through redundancy of lower cost elements. So similar. In the telco space, you could conceive of fiber as being the high reliability, always available infrastructure option. But now we're looking at a lower cost alternative that can render similar availability. And so Terragraph basically takes the 60 gigahertz unlicensed spectrum, unlicensed in many parts of the world. So it's inexpensive to use. Uses essentially merchant silicon to implement the millimeter wave technology, so that the gear itself is low cost compared to licensed millimeter wave or microwave gear. And we build these sort of layers of redundancy through things like Terragraph Mesh, which allows you to deploy a fleet of these radios in an area. And build in this type of say failover resilience into that network.
So Dave, you talked about high availability being kind of the end objective here. High availability with using low cost nodes and that sort of telecom version of a routed data center.